State and federal governments are delaying their tax filing deadlines, and that could be a huge challenge for state budgets. Scott Cohn is here with more on that story for us. Scott?
Yeah, Kelly, much more so than at the federal level. Here's the deal. 45 states had income taxes or other taxes due on April 15th. All of them have delayed their deadlines, like the feds, and in most cases shifted that to the new federal deadline of July 15th. Well, nearly all of those states, and then some, are supposed to be coming up with a budget right now for a fiscal year that in most cases begins on July 1st. So how do you do that when you don't know the numbers on, in many cases, your biggest source of revenue?
It is creating a lot of uncertainty, a lot of questions for state officials, both sort of on the long-term outlook for them, but also just sort of short-term managing their money through this emergency they're facing.
So it gives you situations like Pennsylvania, which was already basically had its reserves tapped out. They are now $2 billion short for this fiscal year. They will make a lot of that up in the next fiscal year, but they're still coming up short. Next door in New Jersey, the state is frozen already, nearly $1 billion of spending for this fiscal year. They're considering actually delaying the start of next fiscal year. And in Ohio, income tax receipts were down nearly $50 million year over year in March, with significant declines expected as people put off filing their state taxes. Again, these states will make some of that money back in the new fiscal year, but it makes forecasting next to impossible, let alone what happens to the economy in the next couple of months.
Yeah, you can't delay the fiscal year forever. It's just, I'd like to be able to say, I'm delaying my tax filing next, I'm just going to start the year later. No, they're in a real pickle, Scott, and that's why it was interesting to hear what Paul McCulley said a few moments ago when he said he thinks these loans to municipalities should just effectively be grants, that there's no way they're going to be able to reopen for business with this much when they're on the hook for this much.
Yeah, and the situation is there is money available to the states. There is the Fed actually buying short-term municipal bonds, municipal securities, which is going to tide some of these states over into next year. But again, the whole forecasting aspect of this has been thrown way off. So really, it's hard to rely on any of the numbers coming out of these states. That could lead to spending cuts. It could lead to tax increases, and it most likely will lead to a lot of states going back to Washington needing more funds.